Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Jackson County. Today we have a very interesting show for you. We have a young lady in our studio. Her name is Brandi Perry. She is from Columbia, Mississippi, and she is an author. She has been penning books, probably with a computer these days, but her latest is called Buried Cries. Brandi, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the trip down from the big city of Columbia, Mississippi.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for having me
this morning. Big city of Pascagoula, Mississippi.
That's right.
I'm glad for you to be here.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Well, I actually am from Columbia, graduated from Columbia High School, went to the University of Southern Mississippi with ideas that I was going to law school. But some things changed and ended up being in public education for 6 years, teaching English and history, and ended up having emergency brain surgery on April 14th of 2009 from a disorder called Chiari malformation. And after about 9 months of rehabilitation, I had an idea for my first book.
Yeah, you were telling me it was doing some aquatic therapy.
Mm-hmm.
That it just went whoop, right
It
there.
did. It was kind of strange. I taught kids how to write, for 6 years, but I was more of do what I say, not as I do kind of method, because I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed reading, but not writing at all. So it did just kind of click, and I had an idea for something and sat down and wrote it, and got rejected 9 times before it got published.
And what was the name of the book?
Wayward Justice, which is small town political corruption drama.
That never happens in Mississippi, folks.
Totally nonfiction.
Totally.
Or totally fiction, yeah.
It never happens in small town Mississippi. We got a bunch of those. So this inspired you, I guess, to continue.
It did. I was at a point in my life where teaching was out of the question at that point, because I wasn't able to go back to that at that time. And after it got published, it did okay. It wasn't that big of a seller. It was more of a local hit. But then I wrote A Whisper on the Bayou, which is a psychological thriller based on the bayous of Houma and Thibodeau. And that one really kicked off, I guess, my career, as you'd say. So. And
were you telling me, I think before the interview started here, that that's going to be made into a movie?
It is. I sold the rights to it, or the digital rights to it, in November of this past year. And actually got a text message this morning that the script is finished now. So we'll go into budgeting and everything. And the producer is out of Austin, Texas. It's Out There Productions in Austin.
Out There Productions. That's pretty cool. They're going to be out there in the swamps of Louisiana?
Hopefully. Also did find out that some of it will come back to Mississippi and hopefully back to Marion County. Just not sure how much of it. But it'll be the first time a movie's been filmed in Columbia.
Will you be working closely with the producers of the movie?
I'm actually a co-director. My contract states that I'm co-director, which I enjoy, because a lot of times you'll read a book and then you'll turn around and watch the movie and they're nothing alike. And that's one thing I want to make sure they're as close as possible for theatrical productions. So.
Well, since this book's been out, can you give us a little tidbit of what it's about?
Yeah, it's about a high school and high school students in Channing Bayou, a fictional Channing Bayou, Louisiana. And there's a senior student and a freshman student, and the freshman basically steals the boyfriend of the senior, and she accidentally kills her. And the freshman comes back to haunt her in terrible, terrible ways, and kind of breaks her down. So, and that's not even the half of it. So,
book still available?
Oh, absolutely. It's been my bestseller. It sold 12,000 worldwide so far, and it's in 6 different languages. So.
And the first book is still available also?
It is. I would say start with number 2, though. I'm not a big fan of number 1, but I mean, it was my first thing. So you have to learn. As you continue to write, you learn.
How many times was number 1 rejected?
9.
9 times. Mm-hmm. But you kept
Oh yeah.
In there.
Well, I just felt like that's what I was meant to do, and I joke and tell people all the time that it took the Lord 29 years to prove to me what I was supposed to be doing the whole time. And when it came back the 10th time and I had gotten published, that's who I'm with now and continue to be with.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
I guess the Lord hadn't really spoke to me about what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm like 60 years into this thing here. I mean, maybe you can help me out with this.
Are you wanting to write a book?
Oh, no. If I did, it would, it wouldn't be a very interesting one. I mean, it'd be kind of boring. Nothing impressive like what you've done.
All right, well, thank you.
But you've got another book coming out, or is it already out?
It's already out. It was released September the 21st, and it's called Buried Cries, and it has. Well, in January, the nomination will go through for Mississippi Book of the Year. And I have some pretty stiff competition, so I probably, might not garnish that award, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity anyway.
We're not going to give any of this one away, folks. You're going to have to go find it yourself and read it, okay? Because we're not going to give it away. But it is a psychological thriller also.
It is. And it's based in Lawrence County, Mississippi. My grandmother was from a small town called Tilton in Lawrence County, and it's based there, which is just north of Walthall County.
Wow, you're highlighting small town Mississippi.
Oh yeah, well, I can't write about something I don't know about, and I think that's where a lot of authors get in trouble is they'll pick a place that they've never been to or never had a chance to meet people at, and they just blow it out of proportion, and it's not at all what they intended it to be.
Well, hopefully you're changing the perception of small-town Mississippi throughout the world. And
I hope so.
We're not all redneck people. I mean,
That's right.
We're not, we don't fit the mold all the time. I mean,
you'd be surprised. I'm in the middle of my second national tour now. And when I was taking a Whisper on the Bayou across the country, I was in Ohio and North Carolina and places like that. And they had some of the strangest questions, not about my books, but about Mississippi. There was a terrible misconception that we all lived on dirt roads and didn't wear shoes and had to grow our food, and it's really strange. So we haven't done real well with that to change that yet, but hopefully we're on our way.
Well, I'm feeling kind of bad because for a bunch of years I did live on a dirt road.
Well,
I did have one pair of shoes, but
my house
I wasn't growing my own stuff. I mean,
my house is off a little dirt road. So.
There's nothing wrong with a dirt road.
No.
I mean, it just gets muddy when it rains. But
exactly.
Yeah, there is a big misconception about Mississippians out there, and you're traveling all over the nation.
All over. Like. My first 3 signings actually have 2 signings this week. One in Macomb and then back home for the holiday open houses in Columbia. But after the first of the year, I'm New Orleans, Texas, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, all over the place.
So you're handling all of this yourself, the scheduling?
Right now, yeah.
And you're writing another book on top of that?
I'm 120 pages in.
And we're not going to give that one away, but you were telling me before the interview started you got ideas for 20-something more?
And they kind of come from everywhere. I was in Rogers, Arkansas the end of last month and was up there, and when I was walking around downtown, there's this huge hotel called the Lane Hotel where Amelia Earhart stayed, and Jack Dempsey and Errol Flynn, and it just had a really cool history, and that inspired another book. That's when I really want to get on top of pretty soon. So you pick up ideas from everywhere. It's not hard, really, when you really get to looking around.
I'm kind of sensing here that because you did teach history, you have a real keen awareness of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're incorporating some of that into your books.
Every one of my books has a huge part of history in it. For instance, with Buried Cries, there's a lot of downtown Columbia in it, and there's a lot of Columbia history in it as well. I think that we really miss the boat when it comes to local history a lot of times because it's not taught in our local schools. And if one child can pick up one fact, that they didn't know prior, maybe that's and one good scare, that I've accomplished my goal.
Well, Columbia's not that big a town. What do the local residents think of your success as a writer?
I'm very, very lucky to live in Columbia. I am, like I said, I'm a native child there, and that town gave me so much growing up. Tons of support in anything I ever did, and it continues now. It's quite funny to me when I have a signing, like my tour like I said, opened in Columbia. And as soon as the doors opened, there was a line of people. And these are people, some that I knew and some that I didn't, but everybody is supportive, and that means a lot. And that's why I wouldn't want a Whisper on the Bayou to be filmed anywhere else, because I think it would give me a chance to give back to my town a little bit and kind of boost the economy a little bit. So it's a very, very special town.
Well, I'm from this town, Pascagoula, Mississippi. So yeah, I have an allegiance to it, and I know how you feel about small towns in Mississippi. This one's not as small, I guess, as Columbia, but it's not really what you call big.
No.
And most of the people you see on the street, and I really, it's kind of neat that you kind of swung your career almost instantaneously during aquatic therapy. That's really fascinating to me.
I can't say enough about aquatic therapy. I had lost all use of my legs after surgery and was told that I wouldn't walk again because I had a lot of damage to my spinal column and my spinal cord and brain stem. And came out of the surgery fine, but the surgeon, immediately said, "You're not going to be able to walk again." And it took a long time, but I was a very, very active young adult and teenager, and I just kind of refused to believe that because I'd seen people be told that before and be fine afterwards. And it took a while, but gradually I moved myself out of the wheelchair onto a walker and then a cane, and then I started walking.
Well, you definitely exhibit a lot of determination in that. Your first book's rejected 9 times, and you keep going after that. It seems like this is something that you really want to do.
Right. Well, I felt like that's what I was meant to do. And to be honest, I was on a road to nowhere. I had to move back in with my family at the time because I couldn't care for myself. And so I just wanted something better for myself. But I fell in love with writing and writing novel style. I really fell in love with that. And there's something extremely special about writing 1,000 words a day and feeling really accomplished.
Man, if I've got to write 100 words a day, I'm like, whoa.
But it's only 5 pages if you look at it like that.
Oh, well, I'm good if I do 1. But I do have an interesting job too, and you sound like your life has really come together.
It has.
And I think that what I'm getting in this little conversation here is that all of those bad things that happened to you ultimately shaped your life into what it is now.
Absolutely. And
it's amazing how that happened.
It is, and I appreciate things so much better now. Like, I appreciate opportunities such as this, and I appreciate my family and friends a lot better because I understand that life is so incredibly short. And you really have to hold on to what you have while you have a chance to and make the most of it.
Yeah, I'm becoming acutely aware of that at my age and how much of it has gone by. And really, some days I get up and go, "Thank you, Lord, for another day." I mean,
I know, yeah.
And really, but I really enjoy talking to people who are bringing and shedding a good light on Mississippi, and it looks like you're doing that.
Well, thank you.
Really, and I'm interested to read. Actually, you said start with your second book.
I would say so.
Second book.
But I have a copy of my first one here for you today. I mean, my third one here for you today.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Brand new one.
Mightn't we get your autograph in there?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. But I want to see the movie too.
We can probably arrange that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll get you back on here and we'll talk about the movie after it's done.
Sounds great.
And you're going to get to work on the movie, and hopefully some of the scenes are going to be shot in the state of Mississippi, which is going to bring a good light on.
Right. Mississippi Film Commission has done a great job with trying to reel it in, but some of it will have to be filmed in Louisiana.
We got to find the bayou. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, we got to find the bayou. All right. Speaking of that, we're going to have to take a short break here, folks. Don't go away. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Spotlight on Jackson County. We are interviewing a very wonderful person. Her name is Brandi Perry. She's from Columbia, Mississippi, and she has written 3 books so far. And she's got one that's going to be a movie. We're going to have to watch out for that one. Welcome back to the studio, Brandi.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the trip down from Columbia so we can let everybody on the coast know what's going on.
That's right. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me this morning.
Let's talk more about your movie, and it's going to start. You're going to start filming it, say, sometime in the spring.
Right. I actually got a text message before I left that the writing was completed now, and that was probably the biggest part. I'm not that patient of a person, you know, so I don't understand what goes into that aspect of the movie. But I know we'll now start working on budget, and we're working with the Mississippi Film Commission and Louisiana Film Commission to start bringing in some investors at this point. And you know, you really don't understand what goes into the production of a film until you're on the other side of it. You know, we're just so used to going to the theater or getting it on Redbox and just watching it, but there's an incredibly large amount of work and study that goes into that.
Yes, we are acutely aware of how much work it takes to do this every day.
Right.
Are you going to be working with or reading the script for the movie?
I am. One of the biggest
yes
things.
And no into
right.
Yeah, okay.
That's exactly what I'll be doing. On my contract, it says I'm a co-director or co-producer, and I was glad it was written that way because I hate more than anything in the world to pick up a book and read it and then go sit in the theaters and it's nowhere near the same. You know, they live out some of the greatest detail or some of the best information. And so when I was approached for this, I made sure that, you know, I was going to have a say. And so I think some of the city scenes will probably be filmed in Austin, so I'll go out there. And but I'm excited to be on this side of it. And also got to help pick some of the characters that I would like, or some of the actors and actresses that I would like to see play in those parts. Never know what the budget's going to be, so it's hard to tell who you can get or who you can't at this time. But hopefully we'll have the premiere in Columbia. Our new theater was built in 1936 and it's just been redone, so no better place to have it than there.
Great. Now, Brandi, if they offer you a little cameo in the movie,
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. She didn't have to think about it.
I didn't.
No, absolutely not. I'm not going to do
there's
a cameo.
been several people that asked me that because Stephen King appeared in the first several of his movies, and M. Night Shyamalan is in every one of his. And unless I'm just a stranger, like passing in the background, I don't think I want to say anything.
Well, I understand from our conversation during the break that your favorite place to write is the coffee shop in Columbia.
And it actually has made its way into 2 of the books as well.
Now, when it becomes famous, they're talking about retiring your chair, right?
Yeah. What's really funny, though, if I go there and there's somebody sitting in that chair, you know, they can tell by the look on my face that I know that person's not supposed to be there. That's my chair. And the people at the coffee shop get a kick out of that because I'm like, what are they doing there? That's my place.
Perhaps we should have your name embossed on it.
I know. I need one of those like desk things to go in front of it.
Keep out. This is Brandi's.
But it is a great place. It's very eclectic and artistic. There's an art gallery right next to it, so there's a lot of inspiration there, and that's where a lot of the artists in our town kind of get together.
But you were also telling me that the people that come in the coffee shop kind of give you inspiration about your characters in your books.
I may be looking for a redheaded boy 21 to 30, you know, to play in that part, and there maybe the one walks in and I know they're probably going, why is that girl staring at me? But you know, a lot of them I take from that coffee shop, and it doesn't make them a bad person or a good person, or you know, either way, because it's not about who they are, it's what they look like.
Well, you know, they might be staring at you because, you know, they're wondering why you're sitting in their chair.
That's very true too. Very true. And there's a lot of people that come up and go, are you working on a new book? You know, because it's interesting to them. People are fascinated, and I enjoy that because it keeps them, it's a personal connection. You know, I'm very easily approachable, willing to talk about it, so it's a lot of fun.
Do they interrupt you a lot, though? I mean, is it
not
you're
too
trying
much?
To thought with your
because as soon as I read that paragraph again, I kind of know where I am again. And I write at our Chamber of Commerce a lot. It's dead quiet there, and so I pick a room and sit down, and I can write forever, and there nobody bothers me.
So we're not doing it the old-fashioned way, folks. She's using an Apple computer these days. You know, it used to be, you know, they called it pen and ink. You know, and then. Yeah, no.
I'm afraid if I wrote with a pen and on paper that I wouldn't be able to tell what my writing was anyway. So. Well,
I'm not going to reveal this to the folks at home, but my writing you couldn't read anyway. It's kind of like Dougie code here, so I mean you're not going to know what I've written down here, but that's my notes. your most favorite place is the coffee shop, but
yeah.
you get a lot of inspiration from different locations in your area.
Right. I live in the Improved community, which is about 6 miles south of Summerall. And I'm out
Improved
in the
community?
Improved, where the best is yet to come. And
that's cool.
But I live, and I have a horse, and I live out in the middle of the woods, and so there's a lot of inspiration there. My home was built in 1939, so it in itself is full of history and is a great story. So I don't have to look very far for inspiration. And at our courthouse in Columbia, there's a room. It's called the media room, and it's got newspaper articles from the 1880s and up. And you flip through a couple of those, and you'll find all you need to know.
They actually have the newspapers,
and they're bound, and all you do is just flip through them. So
that's cool.
It is really neat.
That's cool right there. Now, your books are available in Columbia and Hattiesburg and Jackson.
And we're about to be in the Tupelo area and Starkville and Oxford communities too.
And you can get them at Amazon.
Amazon
and Barnes and Noble online. Now, she's not on the coast, so if you're a bookstore owner, I'm challenging you right now.
Or a gift shop even.
Or a gift shop. Or any kind of shop. Except, we don't want to be the barbecue shop, tire changer, and automotive place and have the books in there. Maybe so, I don't know. But somebody out there that's listening to this show, contact Brandi.
I'd love to be down here.
Let's put this Mississippi writer on the coast. Somebody out there watching it. And if you want to contact her, let's give you the email address.
Absolutely.
There it is, right there on the screen.
Yeah, please contact me. Looking forward to opportunities in this area. I'm in Mobile, I'm in New Orleans, but nowhere in between. So
somebody step up to the plate, folks. We got to have this young lady's books out here on the coast. I mean, she's a Mississippi native, and I haven't read one yet, but it sounds interesting. She's going to have one that's going to be made into a movie.
Yes, sir.
And the movie's going to premiere in Columbia.
Hopefully so.
Big event for Columbia.
Big event. And once again, it just kind of goes back to giving back a little bit, because I've been given a lot in my life. And so now that I have an opportunity to help give back, that's what's important to me.
Well, that's great. Now, you're working on a 4th book.
I am, and right now the title of it is The Jury. It's more of a courtroom suspense novel.
In a small town,
Oh, of course, small
Mississippi.
town. Absolutely. Cold Creek.
Cold Creek. Okay.
It's not hard to find any of those around.
No, stop anywhere and there's a Cold Creek waiting for your watermelon and your barbecue.
That's exactly right. And it's a fictional town, but I like to keep it in the South because that's what I'm, of course, familiar with. People ask me all the time, are you going to write a book about Hawaii? Because, they joke and say that I have to go everywhere I write about, which maybe one day.
Maybe there's a book signing in Hawaii for you.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
It is fantastic. As a matter of fact, 1 year ago today, I was in Hawaii with my beautiful wife, and we did have a fantastic time. But you are traveling all over the nation. What's the reception you're getting? I mean, how are people responding to your book?
Well, fantastic, actually. Everywhere we go, I send a press release, and that newspaper picks it up usually and does a story, and which they are pretty fascinated with how I got started. And once they get it out there, people are very, very receptive. With A Whisper on the Bayou, their biggest thing is they wanted to know more about South Louisiana. They wanted to know more about the South. Is what I wrote about the Bayou is that true? Is there alligators everywhere? Is the food funny? Is the the language really different? But because they are 1,200 miles away, so they're not sure. But in Louisville, I had 2 signings in Louisville, Kentucky last March, and when I went up, didn't know about what my reception would really be, and I sold out in both locations. And have scheduled to go again this following March. So it's really, I love making the connections because, you hear from them all year round, and haven't been to Arkansas, but have it on the map for this next tour too. So it's a lot of fun. I love going out and meeting new people, and they all think I talk funny, and I think they talk funny. And
yeah, I know, they all think we all talk funny down here.
But it's a blast. I love traveling, and on my travels I get to see new things, and a lot of those inspire more stories or something in a story that I'd like to put.
Wow, That is amazing. You get like 26 of them up here.
Oh yeah, and I have to write them all down because I'll forget.
Well, but still, I mean, you get the idea, you write it down, and then later on you get to go back, and then you get inspiration from wherever you're going. Where is one place in the United States you would like to go that you haven't been yet?
Key West.
Key West, Florida.
And they have the Hemingway Authors Festival down there every year, every February. So hopefully, you know, I think if I retired there, I could put out books every 2 or 3 months because that's my kind of place.
Yeah, retiring to Key West would be, yeah.
It would be fantastic. And I would like to go out west. I've never been out west. And California, Washington, Oregon. I've heard it's beautiful, but I've never been.
Absolutely fantastic. You should try Montana. I could give you some names out there. Utah is absolutely, great too. Yeah, we got a couple of minutes, and I want to go over this again so that people can know how to contact you. It's writer Brandi Perry at yahoo.com. And you can contact her there if you want a book signing. Right.
If book signing, or if you have questions about the book, or even speaking engagements or anything like that. I've gotten so I do a lot of speaking engagements for civic groups and churches and schools and things like that. So
and that's how they find out about you. But I'm challenging someone on the coast here that has a shop that will put this book in there. How about all 3 of them? We need it on the coast here. So we need somebody out there to step up, and they can get in touch with Brandi at that email address. Your book is also, we got 1 minute. Your book is on Amazon. It's on
the Nook and iBook and everything.
iBook. It's Barnes and Nobles. And what if somebody just emailed you and say, "Hey, I want a copy of your book"?
I can email or mail them one, so that wouldn't be a problem at all.
That's it, folks. There's no way you could not get one.
That's right. I'm easy to deal with, so that's not an issue.
Well, Brandi, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this morning. Congratulations on your books and your movie, and also congratulations on the tremendous hard road you had to recover, and you're back, and you're doing great, and you're bringing great light on the state of Mississippi.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me this morning.
Thank you so much for coming down here. It's a long trip from Columbia.
It was beautiful day.
A beautiful trip. Okay. All right, folks. It's been great being with you on this show. Join us again next time for another great show. We'll see you then.